All right, TennEssexee podcast number 10. I swear the hardest thing about this is literally the opening couple of lines, because it always takes me like 8 goes, as if I can't do the rest of the podcast, as if I can't do like a shit intro and then talk about the stuff I want to talk about and then come back and just record the part where I'm like, well, hey everyone, it's the 10th episode of the podcast. You know, but for some reason, I do it over 8 or 9 times instead of just talking and being okay with it, you know? Like, it's ridiculous. I don't know if I'm a moron or if you lot are morons for listening, but overall, the general theme is that none of us are really setting ourselves up for success, you know what I mean? So, man, I've had a fun few weeks. It's been busy, you know. I've had a few shows. I had a audition showcase to open for Notaro at a theater in Oxford. I didn't get it, you know, but I was in the running, you know. No, right? So a few months ago, there were auditions in Memphis to get onto Kevin Hart's show, Heart of the City. So audition for that, and I've barely got the mic and said hello, you know, or whatever it was, like, oh, nice to be here, you know, the same thing as here where I struggle through the intro. You know, I walk out, hi, I'm John Sip. No, all right guys, let's start this again. How we going? I'm gonna do stand. No, I barely got the mic. Like, I grabbed the mic. I was like, oh, ladies and gentlemen, nice to be here. Something like that, right? And as I'm getting the mic out the mic stand, some guy walks up and stands directly in front of me. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? You know, like, this thing's being filmed, you know, hopes and dreams on the line and everything. And this bastard is trying to find his seat, and he just walks up directly in front of me and just loiters for 30 seconds. I don't know if he was drunk or stupid. I mean, he may well be stupid when he's sober, you know? I don't know. One of these is a possibility. So eventually he sits down, and so he fucked the first minute of my set, you know? Because, like, I had my set planned out. Like, this is going to be a nice tight 5. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a respectful, lively crowd because they're all excited about the event as well. Instead, I get this bastard and throws it off. But, like, my set was, like, I didn't have time to mess with the guy. Like, I love messing with people. Like, it makes it feel alive kind of thing, you know? And, like, he threw it off. But in my head, I'm like, I can't cut any of this material to fuck with this guy, you know? If it was like a 10-minute set, you can. But 5 minutes, and you're trying to put on your best 5 minutes to impress Kevin Hart and his people. And this motherfucker, he threw me off for it. I mean, who knows? There's a good chance I wouldn't have got a spot even if he wasn't there. So we get to the Notaro thing. Again, big opportunity. It's like somewhere between 600 to 1,000 seat theatre in Oxford. And you got 15 people auditioning for it. And I walk up on the stage, grab the mic, and again, like, oh, John Simmons are going to do some fucking stand-up. And right as I grab the mic, all I hear is, Denver rules! I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Oh my God. So apparently, like, Denver was one of the comics, right? He was up like second or something. Hello, Theo. I got my dog next to me. He's sniffing the mic. I don't know if you can hear that or not. You right? What's up, little buddy? You okay? What's up? What's up? All right, he's just sniffing me, sniffing the mic a bit. If you hear any weird bodily sounds, yeah, he just licked it. Buddy, what's wrong? Why can I not go through anything? without being heckled, be it by a human, some frat boy douche, or my own puppy, my own little doggo. Okay. Good boy. He's found him a seat now. Right. So, where was it? Yeah. So, like, one of the comics was a guy called Denver. And apparently this was one of his friends, right? So, one of the other Memphis comics, Will, was up before me. And this guy is yelling out the same thing, like, Denver! But during the laughs, so it drowned out him yelling. And if anything, it just made it sound like Will's jokes were getting an even bigger reaction than... I mean, they're already getting a big reaction, which is why they're drowning out some guy yelling. And, dude, like, I am not a tough individual. I am not hard. You know, I can't fight. I shit talk way too much for someone that cannot fight. So I was standing close to him, and Will's a good friend of mine. So this kid's yelling, and dude, I stared him the fuck down. I didn't even know I could, but I guess, like, I've been working out a bit, so I'm looking a bit muscly, and I've got, like, tattoos on my arm, and, like, I'm staring at, like, a hole through this kid, and his friend looks at me, looks at him, and is like, we need to get the fuck out of here. So they ran out the back door. I was like, I have never intimidated anyone ever, you know? Like, my dog chewed up my hat last night, and I was like, what are you doing, you little bastard? And he just licked me on the face. It's like, shut up. No. What are you going to do? Not give me any treats. What are you going to do? Not scratch my belly. But no, so this kid gets taken outside. And I was like, oh shit. I look like I might actually do something. I mean, obviously I'm not going to. So yeah. Then I go up on stage, and apparently this kid had got loose from his friends. And as soon as I was like, oh, welcome to the stage, John Simmons. I was like, hello. Denver rules. And I was like, not again. Not again. And straight away, it was just, shut the fuck up. And the thing is, like, Notaro is a clean comic, very kind of casual, laid-back style. So me snapping at someone, like, oh, shut the fuck up. That cannot have helped whatsoever, you know? And so I ripped on the kid for a minute. And I said something like, who gets that drunk on a Tuesday? How miserable is your life? Or something like that. And Benny was sitting over where this kid was. And apparently the kid shot at the rest of his drink and was like, life really is miserable. And then he slinked out the back. So, but no, it was weird. Because my set was, again, going to be like a very tight 5. But as I was walking up, I was like, I've got a funny feeling I'm going to need 30 seconds to a minute of this to deal with something. And so I changed my set, like, literally on the 5 steps walking up there. And I'm glad I did, because it's been eating me ever since that Heart of the City audition that I didn't just basically trash this guy for the entire 5 minutes, like the one who walked up and stood in front of me. So I ripped on this kid for a minute, and it was nice because I think I threw like 4 or 5 insults at him, and the first one, shut the fuck up, like, people like, ha! And then the next one, they were laughing more and more and more. And on the last one, they all laughed loads as the kids slinked out. And I was like, oh, okay, I've won them. I won the crowd. Whoa! Unfortunately, Tig wasn't impressed. But no, like, it was a good set. Like, I was like, okay, I've given them a decision to make about me, you know? Like, I think for the Heart of the City one, I didn't, you know, maybe I got into, like, the top half in terms of deciding, but I didn't make their mind up. And on the TIG thing, I thought I've at least given them a decision to make about me. But both of those decisions were no. So, hey. But, was it Brandon Sams? He got the opening spot for TIG. Congratulations to him. Super psyched for him. So, yeah. I was disappointed, though. I was like, this is going to be so much fun if I make it. You didn't make it. Well, I didn't want it anyways. So there's that. I did have, dude, I had such a fun show. I've actually done 2 really fun shows the last couple of weeks. First one, guy called Jay Jackson in Little Rock. And this is one of the most fun part. Did I say fun weird? It sounded in my headphones like I was like, fun. Anyways, Jay Jackson runs the show, Comedy Cage Match. And it was me, Will, and Benny. And honestly, when I travel with those guys, the traveling is almost the most fun part of the trip. Like, there's no egos in the car. It's everyone just trying to make each other laugh. And like, no one says something stupid and it's like, oh, shut up, you prick. Like, it builds on everyone else's stuff and it builds and builds. And it's so much fun. Like, they both drink. I haven't drank in a while. And I love driving. So, like, I always drive. And my car, it goes from me driving there. I'm like, oh, man, my car. It drives so nice. I love this thing. And between them, they must be close to 500 pounds. I think Will was like, well, you've just added half a ton of weight to this car. And dude, driving, it feels so heavy. You know, trying to go around corners, it feels like my car's not steering. Anytime I have to brake, I'm panicking because I'm like, I've got new brakes, but I don't think we're stopping, guys. Like, my gas mileage drops like 10 miles per gallon. But no, it was so much fun. So, Comedy Cage Match, there's like 3 different rounds to it. And it's like, the first is like some improv-y type games, which is all fun. You know, you tell some jokes, and because the 3 of us, me, Benny, and Will, are stand-ups, and the girls were all improvs. So they would do some improv-y stuff. We would do trampy stuff. Jesus, I cannot talk today. Like, I fumbled over the intros to this thing, and since then, it's just been garbage, really. So, they did improv. We did stand-up-y stuff. Some trampy stuff, but, you know, that's on us. That's just how we live our lives. So, yeah, no. It was so much fun. Second round, you had to, lip sync a song? We did No Scrubs by TLC. And as we started to do this, I realized that I am the quintessential scrub. You know, I am the scrub hanging out the passenger side of my best friend's ride, trying to holler at, well, not me, but at yous, really. So, yeah, we did that. That was fun. We all did stand-up sets at the end. Loads of fun. And then we went to a bar afterwards, and we're all joking around. And God, I have not laughed as hard as I did at that bar in a while, you know? It's not that I've been miserable. Like, I've been laughing plenty. But just when me, Jay, what was it? Who was the other guy? I've forgotten his name. Gibbons. Something Gibbons. Anyways, me, Jay, Gibbons, who did the music, Benny and Will were all sitting around talking, and it was just 2 hours of some of the funniest bullshitting I've heard in my life. It was wonderful. So, yeah, if you get a chance to hang out with Jay Jackson, do it. So, yeah, but no, it really was such a fun show. Like, it was at the Joint Comedy Theatre and Coffee House, which is, it's like a coffee shop in the front. And then there is this just straight up like incredible like mini kind of theater to the left of it. And it's the coolest space that I've seen, you know? It's like, I think like 50 or 60 seats in there, but it's set up properly with like a stage, red curtain. The chairs are all nice. Like it's all enclosed in. Like it was absolutely fantastic. And I got some good footage. Got some good stand-up footage that I can add onto my old showcase video that I'll be sending out. So, dude, all in all, what a wonderful afternoon or evening. Well, both really. We left in the afternoon, got back late. Speaking of no scrubs, right? When we first got there, we went up to the place, check it out, say hi to Jay and everything. Me and Benny took a walk back to my car to pick up a couple of things. As we were walking down the street, hanging out the passenger side of her best friend's ride, someone hollers at Benny. So, like, oh my God, are you single? So Benny walks into the middle of the street to talk to these people while they're sitting at the red line. The light goes green. They're still sitting there. And then when they drive off, he doesn't look at traffic coming. And he just turns around and starts walking back across the street. Like a car had to like kind of swerve around him. But it was like a Citroen 300 or a Fiat 300. One of the really, really tiny cars. And I honestly think Benny would have done more damage to that car if he would have got hit by it. He'd have been fine. He might have had like a Charlie horse on his leg? But that car would have been fucked. God, that was so much fun though. That really was. And the girls were all great to play along with. Like everyone was just like, again, like ripping on each other. But everyone was joining in with it. It was so much fun. Jay Jackson, I love you a little bit, you know? And then last Friday, Lisa Michael hosts a show called Outloud in Memphis. And I got to do that, and that was loads of fun. Absolutely loads of fun. I got to meet Aaron Sarlo and Michael Brown. I've seen him a few times, but never like officially met him kind of thing. And we were sitting there talking, and he did the thing where he asks me about English stuff, but he knows more about it than I do. He's like, what do you think of the new Doctor Who thing? And I'm like, I don't really watch it. What do you think about this thing? It's like, I don't. What do you think about this? It's like, oh, God damn it. I look like an absolute amateur. I look like I am faking my nationality. But no, it was so much fun to talk to him and joke around in that. But he made me feel like a fraud, you know? So no, that was funny. I got to see Vela as well. I haven't seen Vela. I don't actually know. Do you pronounce it Vela or Vala? I think it's Vela. At least I'm calling you Vela. All right, Vela? If you change your mind and you want to be called something different, you let me know and I will happily correct myself. But for now, Vela Bird. Wait, did I say? Yeah, Vela Bird. I haven't seen her in forever. I think like 2.5 years. And she was hilarious. Aaron's hilarious. Michael Brown, hilarious. So no, it was so much fun. It really was. Loads of fun. Again, I got to try some new bits and pieces. I got to see Josie, who I haven't seen in a while. It's such a nice, fun, friendly place that Lisa puts on. So I commend her both for her social righteousness as well as the comedy show. Was driving back home the other day and pulled up at the stoplight next to me was like a Nissan GTR, which is like basically a sports car type thing. Like, that is the worst description. It's like a sports car type thing. Like, what am I? It's basically a sports car, right? It's the kind of sports car that someone that has like a tricked out Honda Civic will grow up and buy, you know? Like, do I want like a Porsche, you know? do I want like an Escalade, or do I want basically a frat boy that got a little bit of a trust fund type car? That's what it is, you know? Anyways, so it's got these decals all over it, and it's for an orthopedic, like, surgery type thing. Like, I couldn't even read it all in time. But, right, it's a matte black GTR with deep dark red decals. All this writing was. So I was struggling to read it at the stop sign. Or at the red light, sorry. And then when it goes green, he just roars off. You know? Like, I was stopped next to him, and I've got, my eyesight's fine, you know? I was wearing sunglasses. That might have thrown it off a bit. But I'm looking at these decals. I'm trying to read. It's an orthopedic. Why are you advertising on a GTR? Like, couldn't even read the phone number. So obviously, he's trying to advertise his business, right? Roars off down the street like a fucking dickhead. Just like someone who was driving a souped-up Honda Civic. Right? And he was like, why? What are you doing? This doesn't make any sense. This isn't advertising shit. All anyone's going to see is Freddie douchebag's orthopedery, right? They're not going to catch the phone number. They're just going to think, what a fucking asshole, as they cut up a bunch of traffic to like zigzag to wherever they're going. You know, unless he was rushing to get back to perform some sort of emergency orthopedery. I don't know. I haven't even Googled what orthopedicians do. This is probably my fault more than his. But anyway, like, who the fuck is going to be able to catch that? The only people that are going to need this guy are not going to be able to, like, turn their body adequately to even read it, you know? Like, healthy, able-bodied people aren't going to need, like, oh, look at that, orthopedic surgeon. I should probably call him, you know? But no, like, you're in, like, a neck brace, and you're just, like, trying to turn to the side. Like, oh, what's going... Oh, it's just some dickhead driving like an asshole. Like, what are you doing? At what point did you think, oh, yeah, deep, dark red on matte black that you can barely read, so everyone's going to know the name of my company is run by a fucking idiot? That's the number one thing I want. If I ever need doctor's help, I want the biggest chav in town to be working on me. Yo, bruv, what's up? Oh, you bit hurt, are you? Oh, gravy, babe, gravy. What a dickhead. Just like zooming past in and out of traffic. Like, honestly, you could have like a computer company or like a golf course and have that written on the side of a GTR, drive like a dick, and people are like, I am not going to that golf course. I am not going to that computer repair shop. He's an asshole. But orthopedic stuff. Like, these guys, they always refer to them as head turners as well. Again, the people that need it can't turn their fucking head. What an absolute jerk off. Like, if you advertised a strip club on the side of this thing, you would expect the strippers are going to rob you whilst they're grinding on your genitalia. But this motherfucker, an orthopedic thing, really? Whose idea was that? He probably got like a business loan. So tell us, what's your plan, Mikey B? Oh, so I've got this new orthopedic business, right? What I'm going to do is buy like a $60,000 car and stick $500 worth of decals on the side of it to advertise. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to drive so fast that people are going to snap their necks trying to catch me, right? And then there'll be customers. I'm going to feed my own business. Holy hell, what a fucking moron. I could not stop laughing. Like, it tickled me so much that the whole way home, I was giggling like a child. Oh, I might do that on the side of my car. Just in like deep, dark red. Like John Simmons, I've got a podcast. I probably won't. That sounds like an awful idea. It sounds like an awful idea for a podcast with minimal listenership. You know, like how can you just, Jesus Christ, this fucking guy. I've been working out real hard lately, and dude, it's felt good. It's like once you get over that initial hump of just feeling sore all the time, and like your stabilizer muscles haven't quite grown into it, so you're still struggling to lift properly. Once you kind of get over that hump, it feels so good. So I've been lifting like mad. Well, not like mad, like twice a week, but I've been going hard when I go. Yeah, I've been lifting real hard, bro. I'm going to stick that on the side of my GTR. Fuck off. But, so the main change I've made this time when I've been lifting is I've actually been eating properly, right? Whenever I've been working out and lifting before, I've been like working out and it's like, oh, I want to get in shape. So I should really cut back on the food. So then your body is like weakened from the workout and then you're not replenishing it with anything. So this time I've been going to the gym and then just stuffing my face afterwards, you know? Like work out on a Sunday, like late morning, then go to the buffet and just like, just rampaging through food, as much chicken and steak and sushi as you can shove in your mouth. And I've been putting on muscle, and I didn't notice until like more and more people kept mentioning it. Like I've been going to stand up, and everyone's like, "Geez, you've been lifting heavy?" Wow. And I'm like, "Oh, well, thanks. I have." Because with all due respect, comics generally aren't, you know, the bastions of athletic performance, you know. Like most comics will live their life with beers, fast, grimy bar food, marijuana, and smoking and stuff, you know. But I don't know. Like I started to get chubby, and I was like, oh, good Lord. Like I was Skyping with my family, and my mum was like, geez, son, have you put on weight? And I'm like, oh, geez. Like, my mum, she will be savage over, like, jokey things, you know? Like, my accent, you know, she will absolutely rip me to shreds. But if she wouldn't say that as a joke, she was like, oh, son, are you okay? I'm like, oh, no. It wasn't even a joke. It was, like, concern. You know, like, what's going on? Have you too many burgers, son? Too many burgers? So I started working out hard and actually eating more. And now I'm starting to get some muscle. I can put a t-shirt on and I'm like, oh, I don't look like I've got saggy tits in this one. This is nice. Like, I don't know if I was that bad or if I've just always been used to being in, like, at least pretty good shape. That being out of shape all of a suddenly is quite jarring. Or maybe I became normal. You know what I mean? But yeah, so I've been working out real well. I've been taking my buddy Mark with me. And yeah, it's been fun. Like the endorphins are just, like when I get home afterwards and just, I've got this like warm fuzzy feeling on the inside, which is, you know, your body recovering from being like the muscles torn up, which on a cellular level is quite horrific. But in reality, I'm more concentrating on the nice, warm, fuzzy feeling. So I've been doing this thing where I keep splitting between lifting and like, what's it called? Like interval cardio. So doing like 10 minutes of a decent speed cardio, and then doing 2 or 3 exercises and kind of like supersetting it. So supersetting is where you do like 2 or 3 different exercises and you rotate through them. So you don't really have a rest period, but you're also not doing the same muscle on each one. So you would do like a set of chest, like bench press, and then you would do something for your shoulders, and then do like a third exercise kind of thing. So I've been doing it that way. So like you're keeping your heart rate high the whole time. But usually when I lift, I definitely get to the point where you start to slow down, you'll start to send a text, like start Googling something. You're getting tired, so you kind of lose your rhythm. So by doing 2 or 3 exercises, then going back and doing like 5 minutes of cardio, but with like 3 or 4 sprints. So it's kind of like a minute of jogging, and then 20-second sprint, 40-second recovery, 20-second sprint, 40-second recovery. And then you get your heart rate right back up. And also you've given, like, you're lifting, like, if you're doing upper body, then you've given your upper body a rest while you're doing that. So when you get back, your heart rate's up, you've got that intensity back into you, and then you go back into 2 or 3 exercises again. You do 1 exercise, then the next exercise, then the next exercise. So you don't tire the muscles that badly, again, because you're doing a different muscle group on each exercise. And that has been working absolutely fantastic, because you're so much more intense on your lifting. Like, you're lifting like you mean it. But also, amongst that, you're getting, somewhere between 25 to 30 minutes of cardio in as well. But where you're mixing everything up, it feels good, man. It keeps the intensity up the whole time. If I do it without doing it that way, I get like six exercises in, and then I'm just like sweating and just like, I'll text a couple of my friends, I'll check Facebook, and then, you completely fall out of your routine. So I'd say, hey, give that a go. Oh, yeah. And also, I got this protein coffee stuff, right? Which I wish I was getting paid to promote, but I'm not. Basically, drink like protein coffee instead of regular coffee, and you feel so much better, right? Because I don't know what the difference is. Like, because I drink just regular, like, instant coffee. But with the protein coffee, you're not adding extra sugar into it, which obviously is a good thing, because the protein powder is already quite sweet, and it comes with it's like espresso shots in it. So you've got all this energy, you're feeding your body a bit of protein, which is good for you. So basically you're switching out like the sugar you would regularly put into a coffee with like protein instead, which is really good for you. I mean, it's more expensive, but it is so worth it. It is so worth it. But yeah, just Google protein coffee, check it on Amazon, and just the first result, I think, is the one, And until they start giving me some goddamn money, I am not going to say drink Chike. I think it's called Chike. I've forgotten the brand. Yeah, it's probably Chike. It's not. I tried making my own. I mixed like protein powder, instant coffee, milk, water, and everything together. And it comes out like mostly froth. like when you blend the protein coffee, it comes out like a little bit of froth, but then it all dissipates into liquid. But when I made it myself, it was half froth, and it didn't dissipate. And I put it all in the fridge to keep it cool. I went back, and all it had done was just made the froth even tougher. Like, I could take like a big ice cube, and I went to put it in the drink, and it just laid on the top of the froth. I was like, okay. That's the reason you buy it from people who know what they're doing, rather than make it yourself like some sort of amateur. I've been watching House of Cards. I've been catching up on that, because I was like really invested the first 3 seasons. And then when season 4 came out, was like last summer, right in the middle of all the fuckery in the real life stuff. When you had like the WikiLeaks stuff, you've got Trump being a lunatic, Clinton being a lunatic, Bernie Sanders standing up for the common man, but not being cutthroat enough to just bury Clinton. And when I turned on House of Cards again, I was like, well, this seems quite feeble compared to the real life stuff. You know, because the first 3 seasons were amongst when Obama was just being president, really. You know, the right was saying, oh, he's going to take out guns. He's going to do martial law. And none of that ever seemed like happening. Neither did it happen. So House of Cards was like super scandalous and crazy and like, oh, this is mental. And then real life got so crazy that watching like a fictional TV show was almost like the real life, you know, the real life boring part. And then real life became like the crazy, like, what's it called? Not serialized, sensationalized. Like real life became the crazy sensationalized, well, this is too stupid. I cannot watch this show anymore and take it seriously, you know? So I skipped season 4 of House of Cards. Season 5 came out a couple of months ago. So I caught up on season 4 and 5. Holy shit. Oh my God, it's so good again. It's mental. All these crazy things are happening, just people fucking people. And it didn't make sense. Just some of the coldest shit I've ever seen. Like just, oh my God, it's nuts. It's such a good show. Like I don't even know what you can spoil. Because for every one story you tell about, oh, this happened and this happened, you're missing out on either so much nuance or something else fucked up that happened. Like it's crazy. Like it honestly, it makes me nervous because just all these blackmail things between people, all these like secret side deals. Like there is this one scene with Kevin Spacey, which it is one of the greatest like acting things I've ever seen. Like it made me so uneasy. It was it? I can't remember if it was late in season 4 or early season 5. But basically, like the lead up to it was fucked up as well, because there's like 3 scenes in a row that just build, and then the next one builds, and then Kevin Spacey does this scene, and dude, it blew my mind. Just, oh God, right? So, God, you can't explain these events without explaining so much background, which is what makes them so good, you know? And it's what makes Netflix shows so good, because kind of like, I guess like Breaking Bad, where you've got like a slow burning build up. So the payoff, it takes a longer to get the payoff, but when it comes, it encompasses so many things that it's fucking nuts. So I'm going to do my best. It might not come out very well. I might ruin the TV show. I might explain what I have deemed to be the most epic thing I've seen, and you'll think, well, that sounds quite boring, really. So, basically, old Frankie Poo needs some sort of transplant of an organ. Was it like a liver or a kidney or something? And he is second on the list. So, Doug, who is his little pit bull that goes and does all the fucked up stuff for him, goes and threatens some medical person to take the person who is top, knock him out the way, right? So that old Frank Underwood is now number 1 to get this transplant. Some kid shoots himself in the face, you know? Fancy way of going out, you know? No nonsense. I mean, you have to repaint the wall afterwards. That's going to be the hardest thing. Imagine that. Like, not only is someone, like, you walk in and your kid's dead, but also, at some point, you're not going to have to clean it up. You're going to have to repaint that wall. Ugh, that's a dark thought. I'm sorry about that. Anyways, that's what happened. The kid shot himself in the face. So now Frank gets this kid's liver or kidney. I can't remember which one it is. And the guy that was supposed to get it, that now doesn't, dies. Their family set up a GoFundMe, as is tradition. And Doug starts feeling super guilty, but also kind of fancies his wife. Gotta be honest, I would have done the same thing. So he donates like $5,000 to this family. She calls and is like, "Oh my God, I'm so thankful for your donation. That's amazing." And it turns out they've talked quite a bit. And it's like, oh my God, no way. Doug has not only killed this guy, he's now gonna fuck his widow. It's just so cold. It's just, are you kidding me? Like, this isn't even the most fucked up part, you know? So they hook up a few times, and so Doug goes to pick her up one night, and they're talking. They got into the subject of the deceased husband, and she's like, I don't fuck you because I like you, Doug. I fuck you because I hate you." Like she knows that he basically killed the husband. "I know it was you, Doug. That donation gave it away. I don't fuck you because I like you. I fuck you because I hate you." And it was just, oh my God. Now, some people would say, "Hey, he still got laid." It was one of the coldest things I've ever seen, right? Then the next scene, right? Claire, old Frank's wife, is back's fucking the what's he called? Like Tom, who was writing the biography on them, and they're at Claire's mum's house because she's dying from terminal illness, and she's basically on a deathbed. So Claire's mum hates Frank. Never really got on with Claire, but because Tom's there, he actually gets on really well with her mum, and she likes him. And they get to the point where they're putting the mum down. I mean, that's not the right way of describing it, but they basically euthanizing her. Like she's on her way out anyways. So it's a super like tense, powerful scene, like incredibly done, like really. It's one of those. It's like really slow, but kind of tense, and there's like some atmospheric music, and you can feel it. You can feel like the pain of the situation where they're putting this woman kind of out of her misery. And they're sitting there like they're both holding her hands, and she kind of drops off. And then a little while later, Claire and Tom are sitting there looking at each other on the couch. And then they don't really say anything, but then she grabs his hand, and they both just walk upstairs together. And it was like, wait, you're gonna go fuck now? What? Where the hell did that come from? You know, just out of nowhere, just. Okay, killed my mother, body's still there. And then they stare at each other and go up and have cold, emotionless sex in the house. And so you've just got over like Doug's thing, and then you got into this thing, and you're like, what the flying fuck is happening? And then the next scene is Kathy is the Secretary of State, is in Frank's office. And then she's trying to make a power play against him. And then he gives this unbelievable speech that is one of the most terrifying sociopathic moments I've ever seen. Like she goes in and she has got like balls of steel. She's got her tail up, just like, yeah, motherfucker, I've got you cornered. This is going to happen, then this is going to happen. And I clean up and I get exactly what I want. And then he gives, dude, it is just the coldest speech. And he's like, it basically explains, like, look, if you go against me, like, we have ways of basically killing people, you know? Like, he makes one thing, it's like, yeah, you know, because I killed Zoe Barnes, which happens at the end of season 1. I killed this person, you know? And the thing is, no one knows about it. That's how good we are. Then he picks up a knife and he basically stands in front of her with pretty much has it at her throat and then just bursts out into this like maniac laugh. And you're just like, you're so unsettled because like he's just admitted to all this fucked up stuff. Is just dominating this woman. And whoever plays Kathy, I don't know her name, but the way she goes from being like super cocky and sure of herself and just it's so subtle what she does, and you can see it in her eyes. She goes from like, I've got this, to just looking absolutely terrified. Like you can see her going paler. Like it was just her reactions made the scene even more incredible, right? And then, but yeah, Frank just bursts out laughing, this maniac laugh. And it's like, no, we didn't do that. And then sits on the thing and then he says something else. And it's, oh my God, like I can't even do it justice by explaining what happened. It was amazing. It was incredible. But basically, watch House of Cards, because somehow it is less unnerving and more unnerving than real life at the same time. It's amazing. But dude, even if you can, like, if you like, message me and I'll try and find like that clip on YouTube, because dude, it is the most insane, like, just amazing scene I've ever seen. It's fantastic. It is fantastic. All right, guys, that's the podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate you. I know I took a little bit of time off the last few weeks. Everything's got a bit mental, so hopefully I'm back on the old horse now, you know? But for real, thank you for joining me. Yeah, if you've got any questions, anything you want to talk about, send me a message. simothesimba@gmail.com, simothesimba on Instagram and Facebook, or just basically David, I'll talk to you on Messenger if you listen to it. But for real, thanks for listening to me. I'll talk to you soon. I'll catch you later.